Anime is endless nowadays. I mentioned this in my Megalobox video, but with the amount of anime out there, so many get swept under the rug. But there's yet another hidden gem that I stumbled upon. It goes by the name of Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju. And I know, it's a long name, it's probably why it's so slept on. But it's a tragic, romantic, thoughtful, and straight up immersive anime. Most of our elders have stories that we could barely even imagine. Stories of obsession, betrayal, lost love, and even more. But this anime goes back in time to tell the story for us. We follow the past of a well-known Rakugo artist named Yakumo-sensei, after a former criminal named Yota asks to be his apprentice. And before I get to anything else, you might not know what Rakugo is, as I didn't before watching the show. It's actually in the title itself and it's very key. So Rakugo, according to my most trusted source, Wikipedia, literally translates to fallen words. It's a form of yosei, which is a form of Japanese verbal entertainment. It uses only a paper fan and a small cloth as props. The lone entertainer in the seiza position, which is sitting on their knees, depict a long, either comical or sentimental story, usually some with even both, without standing up the entire time. The form of entertainment developed during the Edo period, which dates all the way back to 1603. But of course, people wanted to hold the tradition, and also Rakugo has this beauty that this show honestly taught me. With the rise of technology in general, this video itself is a reason that people think Rakugo is outdated. And this anime not only tackles that, but describes exactly why Rakugo is so important.
枕元の死神には手をつけるなと震えてるな消えると死ぬぞ余計なこと言わないでくれよ汗が目に入ってきて
From the symbolism within each story to the genuine difficulty of telling a story in this type of style, I gained a newfound respect for something I didn't even know existed. And of course, while this might have earned my respect, I could see why people wouldn't watch the show for the same reason. Rakugo is a bit long and it's a story within a story. Although the anime does do a great job of creating imagery for the story, I get it. It's not as fast paced as action or modern animes in general, but trust me, it's worth watching, and Rakugo is just the foundation of this story. It's also a tragic, dramatic, romantic, did I mention tragic? Anime. And if you're like me, you love your tragic romance animes, like Domestic Girlfriend. Trust me, Rakugo Shinju is not a dumpster fire in the slightest. It revolves around these three characters, Kiku Hiko, Miyokichi, and Skeroku. It's another love triangle, but it's one that goes so much deeper than just conflicting love. We have a character who's obsessed with his craft because it isn't as good as his faded rival who barely even tries. Another case of natural talent versus work ethic. And at the same time, there's a female in this equation. She's a geisha, which is a female hostess meant to entertain people in the past, entertain men specifically. But Miyokichi wasn't just a geisha, but was someone who relied heavily on others. She finally found her love, but because of social pressures and just social standards in general, she wasn't allowed that one love, and she couldn't handle letting that love go. Now take two best friends, basically brothers, who are also faded rivals, and throw a love interest filled with love and anger, and you're sure to get the amazing story that this turned out to be. The writing itself was the best part about this anime. As I mentioned, there was plenty of symbolism in the Rakugo itself, but the actual events going on just made so much sense. I'll get to it during the spoiler talk, but events fell into place. As dramatic as some of the scenes were, the characters were written so well and it made the story feel real to me. Now you might be wondering what happened to the Yakuza member who asked to be his apprentice in the beginning. And luckily there's an entire second season that's dedicated to that. And it's not only as good as the first season, but might actually be better. This show actually hit on a personal level, as you know, some of my favorite shows do as well. The main character struggled a lot to do Rakugo at first. He was a very soft-spoken and not very expressive character, even though that's what it demanded. And for me personally, that was almost word for word how I felt about YouTube. I quite literally still have like videos up where I'm talking as if I'm whispering into the mic. That's how I gained this subscriber. Don't know who you are, but I know I do.
If you deliberately sabotage my band,
and you'll be ashamed. And I swear I didn't want to, but for some reason that's just how it was. And his journey of trying to find his voice was just another story that added even more to the show. Hopefully you're hooked on the show, because now I gotta talk about some major spoilers that just haven't left my mind since watching the show. So if you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. And if you don't mind the spoiler or have seen it, then I need to talk about this. Alright, getting to the first spoiler, I mean, the way that Skeroku actually died in season 1, I mean, this series hit me with some pain that I wasn't ready for. I literally knew the man was dead, and it was said in like episode 2, but the way it went down was just so tragic. And not just for Skeroku, but for every party involved. I mean, I wanted to be mad at Miyokichi, but not only was it an accident, but Kikuhiko was a straight up idiot. I mean, I get it, social standards, and he wasn't supposed to be with her, but come on, like, he just knew he loved her. If he just got with her, then Skeroku could have found someone so much better, and the show wouldn't exist. So I guess I'm glad that he didn't. And that's the only spoiler that I wanted to talk about for season 1. I thought season 1 was great and left a lot of pressure on season 2, but I could safely say that season 2 delivered. And if you haven't seen season 2, I'm giving you a second spoiler warning, because trust me, these plot twists were even crazier than season 1. Starting with how they actually died. I mean, like, what is going on? Like, I was ready, and I was already heartbroken from the first reveal, and then the show took my heart and absolutely stomped it out. I'm gonna be honest though, I wish there was a bit more of a build-up, you know, like in the episode or even another episode before it. But I guess the other season was just Yakumo's word. But I was at peace with what happened, and then they show what Konatsu did, and I was just straight up bamboozled, befuddled, and all of the above. I mean, Konatsu did mention that her memory was a bit blurry, and there was subtle hints at what could have happened, but the way that Matsuda just brings it up caught me so off guard. But I'm glad they did that, honestly, because it made the second season as memorable as the first. And as for Konatsu's baby, oh man, I've seen some theories that Yakumo's the dad, and I actually agree with it. It's starting to add up, so I'm just gonna ignore that. I mean, that would just be seriously wrong in my opinion, because he raised her like a daughter, but I guess I like Domestic Girlfriend, so I can't really say much. Finally, my probably favorite part of the series was the display of Purgatory, or the first level of the afterlife, where Yakumo finally saw Skeroku and Miyokichi, the figures that haunted him throughout his life, and he thought they would come back for him in a vengeful way. But they were actually waiting calmly for his return. They came to peace with what happened as they realized that's all they could do, and it gave all the characters and us, the viewers, a chance of closure despite all that happened. The anime had an amazing ending in my opinion, and that's rare in the industry. And from the meaning to just the completeness of this anime, it surprises me how little it's talked about. If you have the chance to watch it, trust me, you won't regret it. Definitely go check it out. I just wanted to drop a quick thanks for the recent support, and especially the comments. I mean, comments like these seriously keep me going, and it's exactly why I make the videos in the first place. So I'm glad people are actually enjoying the vids. I hope you guys also enjoyed this video, and look forward to seeing you in the next one.